All right, we are back, and we are ready to hit this next set of Week 2 Saturday games from the 2022 Casuals Tournament. The next game is Ground Zero Dark 6 with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 players. So this is actually a decent choice. Let's jump into it. Are you ready, Walter?
I'm ready.
All right, let's do this. Oh, that's right. I have to turn this off. Okay. Yeah, so Gerald chose King of the Hill TFL style, which means that you only accrue time when you're the sole owner of the flag. This is going to be extremely difficult for the teams who start in the sort of farther areas, as I think Father Xmas might have the shortest path to the flag. Maybe YOLO. Speaking of YOLO, I believe this might be his first game in this tournament. NCH, Mr. Nihilist Comedy Hour. I think this might also be his first game. If you have a choice between a beautiful 72-degree San Diego afternoon at the beach or watching some of his YouTube videos, I suggest you stay inside and watch his YouTube videos. I think he's Nihilist Comedy Hour on YouTube. So check out his stuff. He's got a few speed runs of single player maps and that sort of thing. So
It's fun to know. I don't think I've seen them, so I'd like to check them out.
well, instead of enjoying a beautiful summer day outside, why don't you stay inside and watch his YouTube videos?
Deal.
I think
Deal.
since this is King of the Hill TFL style, I'm just going to keep the camera on this flag here. We see Overdoses Trow getting a bit boxed in there, but he's able to escape. How important do you think Solus are for King of the Hill TFL style versus King of the Hill Myth 2 style?
So on this map, it's interesting because the only real units that can pass those three weird humps are the Tro and the Solus. So Solus actually can play a pretty important role on this map in particular. For the game type, I don't know, but on this particular map that's more designed for three teams, it's interesting.
Father Xmas, he appeared to have just kind of rushed you there.
Yeah, and a good strategy if you are kind of running the throw is if there's a team that has a significant amount of Solus or whatever backing them up, it's put their Tro in the way of your Tro. So kind of position yourself slowly behind them as best you can, and that helped us kind of kill Father Xmas.
So we see that Gerald decided to split his Trow. Do you think that's a good idea?
Not for this, no.
All right. It could be that these are the last three units, in which case maybe he just wanted to give Legacy Typhoon a unit. I don't know. But yeah, these three Trow are getting sort of stuck in between. And I think you're trying to chicken hawk some of our units right there.
We're just trying to get any ability to push everyone off the flag, because again, in this game type, the fact that yellow already has a minute, the game is already over. Everyone would have to die pretty much immediately.
Yeah, well, I think Overdose has figured that out, which is why he's basically just rushing yellow. By yellow, I mean the yellow team and not YOLO's team, even though they're both kind of this yellow color.
The gold team, yeah. Gold versus yellow, yeah.
Or we could say yellow versus YOLO. But yeah, I think Overdose At this point, he has 1 second. And that might be
Well, that
enough to
helps
get a third
him,
or
gets
second
him
place. Yeah.
a point. Walter Wight has had some issues getting points this tournament.
Flag contested.
For some.
This day, maybe not the whole tournament though, because I think you're in second place or third place or something like that.
I'm in fourth, but
That's close enough. I mean, you're not imminently gonna die. That's the most important thing.
That's true.
I believe you did make double-digit lives. We see Walter Wight making his push on the flag. I think he was able to get like
Flag captured.
0.6
1
of a
second.
second, so they just rounded it up.
You're gonna go that way, huh? It wasn't quite a second, Walter.
I mean, I don't think it was, to be honest.
Yeah, it kind of seemed short. I'll give that to you, but it was. I like your hair splitting.
I mean, it's my professional job to, be detail oriented. But with about 45 seconds left, everybody, there's going to be a giant mosh pit at the flag. Do you think anyone's going to get any more time, or do you think that it's pretty much?
This seems like it should not end in anyone getting another second.
Flag captured. Flag contested.
Yeah.
Player eliminated.
I think with about 20 seconds left, it's either yellow or you, Walter Wight, are gonna be the people getting some time.
Yeah. That's why I'm trying to kind of spread out my trow to do it, but Fat's Father Xmas stays in there.
Yeah, that
just enough.
freaking French.
Flag contested.
All right, and so yeah, I think it was well done by Glassjaw and Kronjak, getting 1 minute and 2 seconds in a King of the Hill TFL style game. That is very impressive. However, what is also impressive is both the damage from Father Xmas and you, Walter Wight. I think most of that damage on Xmas's side was the Soulless, just constantly throwing their spears at whatever was moving. And I think you were able to blast a lot of units with the fetch. So yeah, nice damage from you guys. Anything else you want to say about this map?
No, I think more so about the week. It's like that was the only week that in this. This was the third week, and all of a sudden damage didn't count for points, and it was a rude awakening.
Yeah, well, maybe if we were to run this again, I would integrate some kind of damage thing. But got to stick to the rules, or else we have complete anarchy, and we can't have that.
That's true.
All right, so who won that game? Glassjaw. I think his choice, Assassin on Badlands.
Oh, I forgot about this one. What was the unit even?
It's the giant.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so I mean, first thing to know is that if there's a former RBD member in an Assassin Badlands game, it's already over. You don't mess with RBD when it comes to Mercuridian.
So what is
Giants.
RBD?
That would be the legendary order, reckless but devastating, of which I was a part of. I guess.
So I would only counter that with Father Xmas made the fatal mistake of not giving me the giant.
Game on.
Okay, well, maybe. Let me just give a quick shout out to these RBD members that I can recall. I don't remember. So, of course, there was Wicked Ways, Arsenal, Felix, Underdog, and Minor Threat. Some fun guys, some fun battles with the Ministry of Death. That was the other major Giant Fighting Grounds clan back in the day. But anyway, so
Overdose, you're so obsessed with death. Why the death? That was my poor attempt at being a mother. I'm
okay,
sorry.
well, so what do you think about Overdose's decision to throw bombs at the units rather than the giant? Because that's one of these strategies that I really employed.
Well, I think you took out the lock there, which was the only unit that could really do damage other than the giant. And Father Xmas's giant was just kind of sitting there.
Okay.
And so you basically were methodically taking out the only unit that could potentially do you actual damage quickly.
Okay, but
Because
also
pretty much all the other units are...
I mean, my
they
strategy
don't really
was
matter.
to basically kill the warlocks first, the hair on guards second, and you know, use my hair on guards to heal my giant as necessary. Just because the healing your
It
giant.
wasn't a
is-
bad choice. No, I think that... yeah, no, I think that that's probably the best order of operations. I think you do need to do damage on the Mercredian giant, depending if it's, like really pressing you. But the units they're just pieces. It's all going to come down to who has the Mercredian giant with the most health at the end of the game, right?
Ooh, we see some. Yeah. I mean, I hate to focus in one place at a time because I don't think the auto camera is going to be very useful in this. I just want to keep jumping back manually. Yeah, it looks like Team Overdose is rushing you guys, and Father Xmas blows up his own hair on guard. I think. Overdose saying unclump, stay spread. I don't know if they're listening at this point. Geralt Toad and NCH are duking it out in the west area. Nice throw from Father Xmas. I think there was just a lack of communication.
I would have really liked to have seen that whole interaction go with me running the MG. I should have been more just like persistent, but I hate to be that guy,
Oh, we see a nice smackdown from Geralt Toad with his Mercredian giant,
That was great.
eliminating Glassjaw and NCH, who is so disgusted he just went AFK, and he is now smoking.
It's fine.
So he was so embarrassed he had to turn to the crack pipe just because he lost so bad.
And Glassjaw, we all are rooting for you to beat the crack. We know you can beat it.
Just
We
say
know.
no, bro. All
Just
right. Anyway, we
don't.
see the tax evaders almost trapping the Mercredian giant. Overdose throwing some bombs at his own soldiers.
I will say that this has to be like Overdose in his prime. Like he is, he knows the moves. This is similar to his World War II style. He's in his zone, and I think we see that in this next final rundown.
Yeah, well, we see It's 45% to 43%. It's pretty close, even though I think most of the percentages are the Mercurian Giant. Do you think they should be healing these really super red or super orange Mercuridia, or do you think they should be saving
No, I
those
think you
heals for
save
the
all
Giant?
your heals for the giant.
Okay, well, I think that's what they're doing. Maybe a little too much, actually.
Oh, did you do it twice?
No, Kronjak did, but I told him to heal. I think he just,
Told 2 units too.
yeah, who knows?
But unfortunately, random dudes, YOLO and Jaral, do not know how many heals you might have, and you might be able to find some throughout the map. But hypothetically, at this point, the game was mathematically over because you'd be able to take damage and throw, and take damage and throw, and get healed.
Yes.
But I didn't know that you didn't have any heals left at that point. But Jaral does make a good choice at some point and just rushes you because he knows. It wasn't here. It's like,
Yeah, we've got to keep those Heron guards alive, that's for sure.
yeah, but with that, like, it's just infinitely clear. And at the end, it came down to like a like some. We'll find out. But I think Jaral played really, really well here.
Oh, that's a terrible shot.
No, it wasn't. Oh, the lock shot?
No, my throw.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean this warlock's pretty much dead.
Yeah, Ja had to run in. Oh, I thought he fully faced you. He tried to run at the end. Okay, that was different than okay. Anyways,
But yeah, overdose, showing those dusting
those
off
mad skills.
those RBD giant reflexes from 20 something years ago. But
Game.
yeah,
over.
interesting choice from Glassjaw. Yeah,
I think it was a fun map. Definitely
and that
cool to see how the teams decided to split everything.
yeah, and that'll conclude the free for all games. Now we will jump into the we will jump into the 2-team games, starting with King of the Map on Drowned Empire. I think we had, well, we'll count it later. Let's just jump into this. Yeah, 5-on-5, 10 people. Joining us is Meerkat, who was playing as Sean in week 1. The now infamous no trade on the Cracks Stampede game, which caused shockwaves in the Casuals Only Discord channel. Hopefully, when he captains in the future, he'll remember how to trade and he won't hit the reset button instead of the OK button, and other sort of foolish behavior. We expect great things from him in the future. So what did since you're the captain, why don't you take me through what you were thinking during your unit trade and how you were going to dole out the units to the different players?
I think as a captain, one of the first things is look at who you have on your team and then try to develop a trade if you don't have just a standard, because there are standard trades you can make on a map, but otherwise you can kind of cater it to players' skills. Overdose is one of my favorite people for running artillery units that were like very long range artillery units. So I knew that I wanted him to have Solace. I know that he doesn't like to have a ton of units, but unfortunately there seemed to be enough on this map that like he needed to to be able to handle a fair amount. But then we need to kind of spread out who our melee people are, and
Game on.
kind of, just tell them where to go, I guess. But I'm not the best at doing that, without too many words. So, in general, I try to just sort of divide and say, you go this way, you go this way, you go this way.
Flag captured.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure, I guess. I mean, okay. Yeah, so I mean, this is definitely something I'm gonna have to auto camera.
Flag
There's just
captured.
what 30 something flags. I can't keep track of everything. Gotta trust
Flag
the
captured.
auto camera programming.
Flag captured.
But
Flag captured.
yeah, just to circle back to
Flag
RBD
captured.
really quick. I wanted to give a shout out to Underdog.
Flag captured.
Give a shout out to Minor Threat, who actually, when I was playing when I was a young teenager, about 16 years old, he said that he was going to UCLA, which is a
Flag
school,
captured.
university in Los
Flag
Angeles,
captured.
and it turns out he was living a couple blocks away from me. And I said, "Hey man, you want to meet up sometime?" And he gave me a very flat no,
Flag captured.
which was kind of depressing
Flag
at the time.
captured.
But
Flag captured.
having sort of
Flag
gone to university
captured.
myself, a
Flag
21-year-old hanging out with a
Flag
16-year-old is
captured.
not what I consider to be a great
Flag
weekend. So
captured.
after going to
Flag
university for
captured.
myself, I understand why he said no, and no hard feelings
Flag
to Mr.
captured.
Minor Threat if he's out there.
Flag captured.
So yeah, that's all I have to say
Flag
about that.
captured.
Anyway, let's get back to this game
Flag
here.
captured.
Is there anything that you're seeing so far, other than just some minor skirmishes?
Flag.
I think our teams are spread out
Flag
pretty
lost.
well. What's interesting that's difficult to comment on in this is since we only in the overhead map
Flag
see
contested.
it, like based on what teams are seeing, we have a harder time like exactly seeing what flags are on the map. It'd be like almost better if it was just like blinking yellow the whole time, so that we
Flag
could
captured.
kind of see where all they are at. But within all these skirmishes, right now it certainly seems like it's a pretty even matchup. But it'll be interesting to see how things kind of play out.
Flag lost.
Yeah, exactly. We see some. Yeah, I mean, it is kind of hard to tell because of the colors. The darker color tones of the map, and
Flag
brown
contested.
versus dark green. It
Flag
is kind of
captured.
earthy
Flag
tones, if you
lost.
will, and
Flag
it sort of blends in
captured.
with the background. But that's part of the game, man. Not everyone could be as flamboyantly pink
Flag
as
lost.
Legacy Typhoon or
contested.
NCH or Meerkat. These really bright colors.
Flag
Sometimes
contested.
you just have to get dark. So
Is there a way that you can? I forget if there's an F key, but it would be interesting if you could hit that to see like what your team has versus what the enemy has.
Contested.
At least for this,
Flag lost.
just because it's so, the tones are perfect. Walter Wight has chosen the perfect color, and Kronjak has chosen the perfect color, apparently, for this map.
Flag
yeah,
contested.
I mean, I don't know of any hotkeys. Yeah, I mean,
Flag
you're asking
lost.
the
It would
wrong
just be
person.
like enemy
Flag
versus, yeah,
lost.
no, and I don't know what
captured.
it is. So we'll keep where it is, but in general,
Flag contested. Flag
I think it's all about just kind of that communication. But what players that are listening in that might not know should understand is that we all were on voice
Flag
chat,
captured.
at least with the exception of a few players. So when you see in-game chat, it typically is only meant for
Flag
usually the members that weren't on it.
Flag lost.
So unfortunately, there's a lot of things that are being spoken that aren't heard
Flag captured.
throughout all of
There's
these
a
games.
white. Yeah, if I recall correctly, I think YOLO might have been the only person who was not on voice chat. Father
Flag
Xmas, of course,
contested.
joins voice chat, but he doesn't talk.
Flag
And
contested.
yeah,
Flag
but everyone else I
lost.
think was on voice chat, which is something that I was extremely happy
Flag
about.
lost.
You know, I think
Flag
it's really
contested.
it really
Flag
facilitates
captured.
the camaraderie
Flag
or lack
lost.
thereof of the game, and definitely want that to
Flag
happen.
contested.
I want more trash talking,
Flag
and I
contested.
want more
Flag
strife
lost.
and more chaos. And I think voice
Flag
chat is the perfect
captured.
platform to see that through.
Flag captured.
It just makes it harder in these games because you don't get to see like the shit talk being posted, via text.
Flag contested.
Yeah, well,
Flag
honestly,
lost.
though, most of the
Flag
trash talk is
captured.
usually
Flag
spoken
lost.
when several certain people sign on. I mean, this is a pretty good-natured
Flag
group of people.
contested.
I think
Flag
I
lost.
only
And the
really
trash talk that is
Flag
texted is
captured.
usually meant
Flag
in
captured.
the way that would be
Flag
better
contested.
if spoken.
Flag captured.
yeah, and I think the only people who really deserve
Flag
the trash
captured.
talk are not logged on right
Flag
now. So
lost.
maybe we'll see if
Flag
they log
lost.
on later.
Flag
Speaking of the game,
captured.
though, it appears as though Kronjak's team is really just
Flag
kind of getting whittled
lost.
down. We saw a big white explosion earlier, but other than that, I mean, I
Flag
haven't seen any
contested.
kind of
Flag
game-altering
captured.
moves.
Flag
I think
lost.
Kronjak's team is simply
Flag
just getting
lost.
ground down, unless you see something else, Walter.
Flag captured.
What's just difficult about
Flag
this is there are so
lost.
many flags, and
Flag lost.
again, the overhead is like so muddied
Flag
by the
captured.
colors that it's difficult to see. But yeah, basically,
5 minutes remaining. Flag
the Soulblighters are just kind of surrounding
Flag
and
captured.
devastating, and in every situation, kind of killing
Flag captured.
Mom and
Flag
Halal.
captured. Flag captured. Flag lost.
Yeah, we see that Walter Wight now has a more than a 2-to-1 advantage in terms of percent.
Flag captured.
YOLO, who is, YOLO must be getting
Flag
quite a few kills
contested.
because it looks like he's leading the team
Flag captured.
in kills.
I just can't believe that Walter White's team lost this game.
Flag contested. Flag lost.
I don't think it's mathematically possible
Flag
that we lost,
That's
that we could
the
lose this game.
joke.
Flag contested. Flag contested. Flag captured. Flag
But yeah, when you do look at the
Flag
teams, you'll
contested.
notice that
Flag lost.
Walter Wight, Father Xmas, and myself, we've all played together relatively consistently for the last
Flag
three
captured.
or so years.
Flag
Whereas
contested.
Kronjak, Gerald,
Flag
Meerkat,
contested.
NCH,
Flag
Glassjaw, I mean,
lost.
who knows where these guys came from? Well, one thing I
Flag
can say is
captured.
they probably
Flag
don't have that
captured.
much experience playing with each other in tournament settings or large.
I'm just so excited to see them, show up, and I think actually show some huge potential. Like I've seen some crazy things out of like
Flag
Glassjaw, and I've seen some crazy
Flag
things
lost.
out of Meerkat
Flag
and
lost.
all these people.
Flag
So
lost.
I'm excited.
Yeah, I mean it's good to see, the blossoming of a potentially
Flag
future
lost.
future myth all stars. Who knows, right? And I think I don't want to give away too many secrets, but Glassjaw is going to end up
Flag
right
captured.
up there on the leaderboard, with alongside you, me, and Father Xmas, and I think
Flag
Wings.
captured.
So, it's definitely fun to watch.
Flag captured. Flag lost. Flag lost. Flag captured. Flag contested.
But I think I actually don't. I don't know that I knew anyone like Kronjak, Meerkat, or Glassjaw within the last 4 months. It's crazy. I feel like I'd seen NCH online here and there, but I just feel like I hadn't seen any of these people. So it's cool to see the community growing.
Yeah, I mean that's a lot of what the casuals only reg tournament is about. It's about attracting those people who perhaps feel a bit isolated from some of the more
1 minute remaining.
outlandish characters
Flag
on the Myth
captured.
tournament circuit,
Flag
who
contested.
perhaps might play more exclusive games, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but everyone wants to have fun, and
Flag lost.
providing the opportunity to do that is something that I wanted to do for this tournament. So it's good to
You
see some
certainly
new
did
faces.
that.
Yeah.
No, I think that's been everyone's
30
favorite
seconds
thing.
remaining.
And thank you. I know that you don't go out there doing it for thanks,
Flag captured.
but I think it is it helps everyone kind of feel more comfortable. The community does exist. We all do want to help and support one
Flag
another.
captured.
Yeah, I mean, I just hate it when I hear people say that they're gonna,
Flag
host their first
lost.
tournament, and then they're gonna wait for something to
Game
happen, and
over.
wait for another thing to happen. They never end up doing it. So then I have to roll up my sleeves and host my own tournament. That's something that kind of irritates me. I'm sort of talking about you, Walter Wight, who has said that he would host tournaments, and yet I'm still waiting to see that tournament announcement, and so I guess I have to keep the train rolling for the time being. But we're waiting for you, man.
I don't think people like me as much as they like you.
Oh, that's not true at all. I'm pretty sure. I mean, maybe except for the people in the casuals only reg tournament Discord, but certainly. I mean,
Well, thank you.
Argos Asmodean. I don't know who else is here. Pretty sure all those guys hate me, so I don't really care. But we could talk about it another time. But let's go to Lichen Unto Death. This is game number 7, or the second game of the 2-team games. And here we go.
This is an interesting map.
I mean, don't leave me hanging, Walter. Why don't you tell your revered audience why it's an interesting map?
You're revered. So having an Ulrich character, the general, with mana is a very interesting play piece that has been played in many Myth World Cups recently, and he basically can cast a spell that essentially will propel bottles or whatever objects to an extraordinary distance, and not many players can play it. So for some reason, usually myth units are just they're canon, right? They're the only thing that can exist, because there've been so many mods and fuck the mods. Let's stick to relatively canon units. But for some reason, this version of Ulrich is acceptable, and it's only on this map, and it has existed in multiple Myth World Cups, and basically he can launch bottles to an extraordinary degree, and yeah, pretty much because it's not canon, you should play the generic
Game.
map, and the most generic way to place teams is capture the flag versus capture the flag. So we'll see, I guess, how teams have split that. I don't know if I explained that decently, but that's how I see
that
it.
was not interesting at all. No, I'm just
Fuck
kidding.
you.
But okay, so the major difference between these unit trades that I'm seeing is that Legacy Typhoon opted to get probably 30 or so Thrall, whereas MP's team decided to go for the Warriors. What do you think about the decision to get Warriors versus, 30 something Thrall?
I think more Thrall are. In general, I think that Thrall can support archers better, because they're kind of like a fallback zone. But if you really want to press an attack, Warriors are better.
Yeah, of course, they're a bit faster and a bit more maneuverable. Plus, they can block attacks like archers and whatnot.
But to be hit by a Thrall, like a one-on-one attack, I've seen both Thrall and Warriors lose if they're not fetid.
But on the other hand, though, I'm just it when you say one on one, that immediately brought flashbacks to that Thrall versus the Warrior of Thel that you had, and that Thrall just completely destroyed that one Warrior of
And
Thel.
that was the one-on-one.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
that was just
Now, so this is what Walter Wight is doing. So he understands the weird zone, and
yeah.
he's trying to like
If you're
play it
not
out. But he also is doing it right into where Father Xmas is trying to walk.
Yeah, and if you're not apprised, in general, what you have to do is your dwarf has to stand on the sort of edge of the bubble, and that'll sort of propel the bottles a lot farther. The best I've
When
ever
if you
seen.
are in the center, kind of towards where the flame is,
Yeah, exactly.
you will explode.
Yeah, the best I've seen do it would be someone like Genghis. Pretty very solid player who knows pretty much everything, and he's one of the best I've seen do it. Also, pretty good freaking player. But
He's also the MWC champ on MP's team.
on MP's team, exactly. So we see Overdose kind of pinning who is this NCH into this little corner here, while Father Xmas and these Thrall are boxing in YOLO. We see that MP drew this sort of three-pronged attack, but I don't see anybody on these three prongs except for these minor forces.
So the MP's team is trying to flank way south and then go north.
What do you think about that decision when, basically YOLO and NCH are on their heels in the middle? Do you think that they should have rotated to try and support YOLO and NCH?
It depends on the units. Can you show where their units are south? more.
So we see some.
And then
7
a
guys
little bit
here.
more east. I think they've gotten
We
some.
saw 4 guys here, and the general.
Yeah, it depends. I don't know. I don't think they had enough units. I think it was, everyone was still following the
There's just this
rules.
general versus general fight in the corner,
And
completely
then,
completely
boom!
removed from the rest of the game. So maybe there's just some hate play going on or something. We have Empy against you, Walter Wight.
That was the only thing. I think that was. I only knew that side of the fight. So,
And yeah, I mean, you're,
and we win this side of the fight, so we don't need to necessarily focus on it. But
and meanwhile, we see Father Xmas, YOLO duking it out. Overdose is still putting pressure on NCH's archers. Yeah, these Thrall are taking a massive amount of punishment, but they are providing, they are soaking up a lot of those arrows. We see some friendly fire from Legacy's dwarf right there. That's not good. And a bunch of Father Xmas's bowmen were taken out. Meanwhile,
so the big thing in game was that east battle.
it looks like
There
you
was
did in fact kill
quite a bit.
them.
For those mega fans, download the clip.
MP claiming that we are good at this.
To be fair, I was facing MP, so he's kind of trying to not be happy about him dying.
Flag contested.
I mean, he is, out of all of us, a Myth World Cup champion.
That is true.
And you did call it MP's team rather than Homer's team or,
Flag
some of the heavier
lost.
hitters. Oh, I didn't even see that. The double J-Man. Oh yeah, that's right. I remember on voice chat we were talking about the double J-Man rush. If there were a bunch of Thrall on the flag, then you just rush in with a couple of J-Man and heal all of them. Missed that,
Team
but
eliminated.
great
Game
job by
over.
Yeah,
guys.
well, but I think as part of these chats, we're not necessarily trying to say what we were thinking, just
Yeah.
observing.
But nonetheless, great journeyman work from Glassjaw, tagging out that game and sending it to game number 8, which will be Last Men on the Hill on Quixotism, Tournament Edition, Trowel. Let's get into this.
No! Oh no! Oh no!
Are you okay? What's going on?
No, it's poor meerkat.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so this perhaps bringing up flashbacks of the Cracks Stampede game. Mr. Meerkat, otherwise known as Sean from week 1, is captain. I think on voice chat we were trying to give him some pointers. Unfortunately, what was this? Maybe 2-minute planning time? I don't think it was the full 3 minutes, so a little bit rushed, but yeah, we'll see what Team Meerkat is able to cook up. On the other side, we have Team Kronjak. Kronjak, I would say, is more experienced than Meerkat, and I expect him to get a more traditional trade, which it looks like he maxed Fetch, maxed Trowel, maxed Mercuridia, and got some Soulless. Pretty standard trade, I would say. Meerkat, on the other hand, I believe we gave him. Are you okay? What's up?
I'm laughing.
Oh,
Sorry,
okay. Yes, I thought you were having a
I've got a
seizure.
weird mic on.
Yeah, I thought you were having a seizure or something. Okay, yeah, so if I recall correctly, what Meerkat did was he traded the way we told him to, but then he hit the reset button instead of the OK button, which basically gave him the default unit trade, and that is the current predicament that we're in right now. So unlike Kronjak, who got 5 trow, we only have 1, and we also are sort of slow to the hill, and yeah, this definitely brings back shades of the cracks in the Cloud Spine Stampede game from week 1. But now we're starting to see some action. I think you have set with 76% of the units, just sending everybody to the middle. I think
Well, I was giving them, yeah, just about then. So, hopefully I divide. I think I'm like, all right, let's quickly try to figure out what we have and how it could potentially outplay 5 tro.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that is kind of in our favor is that, you know, Father Xmas, Kronjak, you know, they're not known as being overly aggressive players, so we could have used that to our advantage. Could have, you know, out-artilleried them. But
so I tried to like draw them in, but like I have you, I think, on souls.
I think you were really just looking to rush them, to be honest. I think. But yeah, the key.
Well,
thing,
just in general.
The key thing will be to get these fetch, because they're the ones who can annihilate all of our, you know, the mauls. You know, I'm not necessarily opposed to having mauls in a last minute game of this type, but that is provided that all these fetch are killed.
Am I still holding all these mauls and zerks?
Yes, you are holding 50% of the units, which is perhaps.
Yeah, I should have spread it out even more. I mean, yeah. I just don't know how we win here exactly, but it's certainly a matter of like bluffing.
Contested.
So I'm trying to bluff.
Well, I think what we could have done was just stay on our side and out artillery them. I mean, you know, Legacy Typhoon.
We certainly could have, yeah.
You know, I'm going to town on these fetch here. You know, I'm getting attacked by multiple sides, so it's kind of hard to do.
Yeah, well, you killed two, at least 2.
Yeah.
Now everyone back up where it would have been good.
It would be nice if Father Xmas actually did something, but you know, he's French.
He's not on the chat. He is Le Chat Chablis.
Flag contested. Flag contested.
Yeah, so we did pretty much get all of their fetch.
Yeah, at this point we're doing fine, but we're still way down. But all of their points are held up in the tro.
Flag
yeah, which
contested.
Again, you know,
flag captured.
that was
We
not
could take
good.
down.
That was
this white pop. Yeah, that worked.
I don't know who blew up our own guys with that mortar, but that wasn't good. If I were to take odds, I would guess Giral, but it might have been NCH. But yeah, so with pretty much all the fetch dead, the next thing to do would be to go after these soulless, maybe.
And to know that they're...
Flag captured.
I guess to know a better idea of their percentage because
Also have some mauls and artillery units who are just
we
kind
have
of
no tro really.
uselessly standing here for some reason.
They have all no, they've got this.
Yeah, I mean, if we had like 2 or 3 fetch, if Father Xmas hadn't suicided them, I think we could have had a chance. We needed these mortars on sort of this front line. These mauls could have been brought
It would have
in.
been interesting to see if we could have taken them with only one tro.
I mean, I think we could have. I mean, just look how Father Xmas is just kind of standing there.
Yeah.
He's not
No,
doing anything.
yeah.
So I think if we had like,
No, but you misunderstand how powerful like 3 trow are, or 3 tro.
well, I
Just
mean, I think this
one
would
and
hold them at bay. I mean, what we were really missing was the fetch, and I think Father Xmas,
I think it's close, for sure.
unfortunately, is just terrible.
Oh, this was fun though.
We do see a Kronjak White moving into position. Now, without seeing that white, I think
Oh, I think. Oh,
it
do
was Jral, maybe. Oh, Jral sees the head of the white,
do it.
blows
Oh,
on
do
it,
it.
and he blows up a bunch of soulless.
That's very deep water. That didn't really hurt a lot of them. That's interesting.
Yeah, but it was an excellent shot by Jral,
For sure.
keeping us in the game. I'm doing all I can with these soulless. Father or Jral and NCH are doing what they can with their mortars.
Flag.
So what am I doing? I mean, I obviously have the 33%.
Yeah, you just have the melee. I mean, you're not supposed to be doing anything. You're just supposed to be messing around until about 20 seconds, and then you run the heck into the flag and hope we can kill some trow.
1 minute remaining.
Well, actually, the more important thing for the artillery would be to target the Mercridia at this point. I mean, the soulless and the dwarven mortars aren't going to do much versus the... oh, this is going to be... oh, could have been a good shot. But, yeah, I think the most important thing for the mortars to go after is the Mercridia, since they're a bit vulnerable to explosives.
30 seconds remaining.
30 seconds. Alright, here we go. This is it.
Flag contested.
It's a nice
Flag
shot from
Flag contested.
Jral Toad. And another nice shot from Jral Toad.
Sudden death.
And now at this point, all the artillery are dead. So now the melee just has to go in there
Flag
and wipe
contested.
the floor with these guys. The artillery need to be blowing up these Mercridia. Are you okay? What are these random sounds that I'm hearing?
Oh, sorry.
We see a white blowing up everybody. Yeah. At this point, it's pretty much over.
Flag captured.
But yeah, I think those mortars could have blown up the
Game
Mercridia.
over.
Might have had a fighting chance, but you know, without those trow, it was definitely an uphill battle. But I think we did make it interesting.
I was pretty surprised how close that was.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, we out artilleried them. I think, you know, Jral had some very nice shots, and you know, the massive amount of melee units made Father Xmas think twice about just rushing us, and so it really came down to, you know, the Dwarven mortars, the fetch, and the soulless, and I think we won that battle, but we weren't able to kill enough of their Mercridia at the end, and we needed to kill them and then kill the trow, and even then that would have been a tall order. So you know, I think it was pretty close, all things considered. But yeah, I mean that's I think Meerkat's second captaining experience, and at least this time it was respectable. That Cracks on the Cloud Spine game was less than
A
stellar.
vast improvement.
Yep. All right. So this game, Barbarian Valley Assassin, you'll notice that the
I'm getting a
tournament.
lot of haze or like grains. Maybe it's fine. Can you move your camera again? Yeah, it seems. I don't know if it's my connection or yours, but it seems really intermittent. Yeah, like I don't think you should be streaming. If you can hear me, then
I can hear you fine, and then the video capture is capturing my computer, not your computer. So I think everything's fine.
I'm just seeing a lot of. Okay. Anyways, no, it seems it's like pixels on pixels.
Yeah, maybe it's Discord. I don't know, but
Okay. Well, if you're capturing it, that's great.
as long as you could kind of make out what's going on, hopefully
It doesn't matter. Okay.
we only have one more game after this anyway. So right now we have Team Empy with Glassjaw, Kronjak, Meerkat, and Overdose against Team Father Xmas, which were all Legacy Typhoon, NCH, and Walter Wight. I'm not exactly sure why I chose this map. I do like Barbarian Valley rather. I don't know why I chose Assassin though. Seemed like a good idea at the time, but who knows? What's your impression
What's
on this?
interesting is that it. I guess I know now. I don't mean to provide insight into future weeks, but it's like, yeah, it seemed like it could either use more time or I don't. Yeah, maybe it's one of those maps that you'd be like, yeah, well, it works perfectly if it's unlimited time. Maybe I don't know.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I typically don't see that many tournament games lasting more than like 14 minutes. I think this one was 12 minutes, so maybe that extra 2 minutes will make a difference. We'll soon find out. But it looks like both teams are stashing their assassin targets sort of in a narrow area with only two sort of narrow choke points. MP is opting to go north with all three of his trow. Meanwhile, you are going right up the middle with yours, as well as a handful of berserks. Closely following is Legacy Typhoon with some Zerks, Fetch, and some Solus. See, Glassjaw and Meerkat are supporting the mid with their
Push,
units as
yeah.
well.
No, so yeah, I think that like the first team to get like really a handle on where the barons are, the assassin units, is going to be the team that is going to hopefully position themselves best.
We see
Um,
NP he's gonna probably be a little aggressive towards these Father Xmas Fetch, who are not
well, he
really
should be,
not gonna put up much resistance. Those are some free kills
or
for
any
NP.
resistance.
Uh,
18 points of resistance.
we see that Walter Wight perhaps killed some Fetch and some Berserks in this area. Now where did MP go? I'm just gonna auto camera, man. It's too late for me to follow around. Yeah, the auto camera is kind of failing me right now. I don't know why. Okay, so we see you chasing some Zerks. I think these are meerkat Zerks, maybe. I don't know where exactly they're going, but we see a pretty stout defensive presence for Team MP. I think Team Father Xmas is a little less organized, but again, there's really no offensive pressure, so it's not like they have to do anything anytime soon.
I think at this point the autocam is failing more so than it's helping, but I think what we see is just kind of slow, methodical tro killing things on Father Xmas's team, and MP's team is kind of they've consolidated all of their tro to a limited portion
And
that
MP's gonna
should
lose
be
one of
getting
those tro.
sniped. And the Soulless are slowly learning their value.
Yeah, and I think
It's you're continuing to kill the tro. I'm just wondering where the other Soulless are, if there are any. I've got a very limited view here. It's very pixelated.
yeah, sorry about that. I don't know what's going on. We were on a roll there for a while. I mean, I think we got 5 or 6 games in a row without any problems, and then I don't know.
Yeah.
The late
No, I
night.
can like kind of see, but it's very hard.
Well, late night internet speeds, man. What are you gonna do? But okay,
Yeah.
so we see MP picking off some units there, and I think both at this point, both Father Xmas's team and MP's team have their barons sort of fully entrenched to the point where it's going to be extremely difficult for either team to get any killing done. There's just simply too many units, too much fortification, and yeah, it's going to be tough for either team to get anything going. Was that? Yep, the Giral special, killing about 10 of his own spiders.
You hate to see it.
You hate to see it, but it also doesn't surprise you. It's kind of like getting those pair of socks at Christmas. It's like of course you want that new PlayStation, you want those new video games, but your parents give you those nasty ass socks. You knew it was going to happen, but it kind of makes you cringe, you know?
Oh, for sure. Oh, and suddenly, beautiful. I have crystal clear video.
Excellent. Okay, so you can see that there's some Zerk stuck in the trees. You see that
I see some thatch.
Father Xmas's barons are deeply entrenched, almost a sort of impenetrable defensive fortifications there. No one's getting in or out.
So the interesting thing about Walter Wight's tro is that they're clearly more injured, and so we wonder how much he can draw the other tro who have more health into another sort of battle, or block them off.
Yeah, well, at this point, it looked like Empy was sort of running into a trap there. Empy is sort of susceptible to that kind of behavior just because he is who he is.
But that isn't that Giral that's running those Tro.
I don't think Giral has any trow because he has 3%.
But it says it on your F6.
That's a Dwarven mortar. I don't know where that unit is
Oh,
anymore because the auto camera. Oh, there we go.
and he's about to. Okay.
Right as he's about to die, yeah. The auto
This
camera comes through.
omniscient.
But yeah, I mean, the trow on this game type are not really much of a factor. Of course, they are the most powerful unit, and I'm not suggesting that future games of this should be played without the trow. But
It is interesting to see.
there's just
Yeah, they're
so much.
basically like they're better yielded for like kiting. There's like a sort of co-op term called you kite a unit. So it's like when you get artificial intelligence to follow your unit for a very long period of time, you can sort of do that in multiplayer.
I have no
It's
idea
like,
why MP isn't just stoning your trow.
I know,
He had
and so I'm kiting him.
Well, usually the one that's running away is the one doing the kiting, but I don't know.
No, but the whole issue is like sometimes you have to egg them on to
Yeah,
get them to kite you.
MP could just turn around and
I
punch your
know.
I don't know. I mean, MP.
That's why I move towards him. But
That's
then
why
I need to,
MP shouldn't have good units,
and
just
then
because
boom, boom, boom,
he's MP. And
boom, boom, boom.
if MP
Oh, he
stoned
got stunned. He didn't. If FB stoned what?
if MP stoned your trow, then you wouldn't have been able to kill those fetch, and then it would have set off a chain reaction of good things for his team, but instead somebody just blew themselves up. Just
That was overdose.
MP being MP.
And you wouldn't have had to have done that. And now I get to kick you. Oh. Yeah, no, I guess that's the right move. Unless I get trapped, then it's not. Then I could have killed. Yeah, that was not the right move. I could have at least kicked you.
One thing that's kind of interesting is that these barons are surprisingly tough. If you just saw that the Zerks got a couple of slices on those barons, and they were still quite deep in the green. One thing to note.
I really thought that my Zerks, if I had gotten 3 around right there, would have been able to take them. And yeah, I got nothing. You're exactly right.
Yeah, and what also is exactly right is that MP should not control the trow,
30
because
seconds
he's pretty
remaining.
terrible. And I don't mean that on a myth level, because of course he's a myth world champion. I mean terrible as in he's a terrible person. He's bereft of all conscience, and he needs to be in an insane asylum, I think. So that's just my opinion on Mr. MP there. But other than
And you
that,
mean that only as a person, not as a myth player.
yeah, absolutely. Because he is the one who does have the MWC championship. However, what I will say is that when you do have 3 trow, one would expect more than 19 damage. So that's all I'm going to say. But other than that, a great performance from Kronjak, 91 damage, 1 loss. Nice damage from you, 121 damage. But it ultimately was for naught because it was a stalemate. And as a stalemate, I determined that nobody loses a life because everyone played pretty well that game. So,
What do you think if that whole CW after his name means? That seems like a gang slang.
well, that is for his order, the Commonwealth, which currently has two members, MP and Spy, and Spy is too ashamed to actually put that tag in his name, but it has been confirmed that as a Canadian, Spy has joined the Commonwealth Order. So that's what
Oh
that
boy.
CW is.
Oh boy.
All right, here we go. This is the last game that we're going to cover for today's batch of the week 2 Saturday games. It is a capture the flag on Rivertown. This is a converted converted Civil War map. I think it might have been converted by HMP, and yeah, as you can see, there's the Union or the U.S. flag here, the Confederate flag here, and we have Team MP with Father Xmas, Meerkat, NCH against Glassjaw, Geralt, Kronjak, Overdose, and Walter Wight. Now, if I recall,
So I have some things to say about this map. I really enjoy this map. I think it's a beautiful map. Whoever made it, it's great. It's actually one that I do want to convert to a more free-for-all style. But I think it's just a beautiful map. And I love that the trees explode when you hit them. And I think not all players even know that, but this is just, I don't know, it's beautiful map making. Whoever made it, good on them.
all right. Well, I have no idea who made it, but we'll find out later. Father Xmas is saying basically it's an arty map. Best to do is go heavy D here. Oh my god, no arcs, damn. So he's a bit displeased with this unit trade. As we can see, there's 8 warlocks, no archers, heavy on the hair on guard heroes, probably close to maximum Zerks, and a couple of Puskulls.
Game on.
Glassjaw, on the other hand, has no warlocks, no archers, maximum Thrall elite. He basically told us over voice chat that we were going to do a bum rush, just all in, melee only. I take that back. There's actually 1 archer, so we do have some artillery, theoretically. But he is calling for the all-out rush, and time is of the essence.
Billy Joe.
What was that?
The one archer. I was just trying to guess his name. Billy
Well,
Joe.
it's actually
Charles.
Charles. But yeah, so we have this sort of group of Thrall elite. They can take quite a bit of damage, like 2 warlock shots easy, and they're gonna be key in forming a sort of meat shield to get to the flag here. And yeah, I mean, what do you think about MP's trade, and what do you think about Glassjaw's trade, Walter?
So both of them I had. Well, so I was on Glassjaw's team. I really disagreed with the idea of no artillery, but it makes sense, sort of, on this map. And I think it really played out. And I think that I do have to comment on the fact that Father Xmas was so adamant against, you didn't get any archers on this map. Pretty much, like, you get if you get any archers, get the very minimum. So I completely would disagree with his idea of a strategy on this. But who's to know? It's a really fun map. It's really big. There's a lot of ways you can play it.
There's a lot of interesting choke points. You know, you really, in order to get to the other side, you're going to have to cross these bridges or these shallow water crossings. I think there's maybe 4 or 5 different access points for this entire map.
And plenty of opportunity for fell thrall, or not fell thrall, whatever, strong thrall, and whites to sneak up on you.
Yeah, and so here we go. This is the first engagement. We have Walter Wight and Overdose, accompanied by Kronjak with some, you know, disruptor units to try and get some of these warlocks.
So Walter Wight can quickly disrupt everything by just sending a single unit at them at a time. The warlock loses all of their mana. And at least 2 locks are down now.
Yeah, keep in mind that there is some friendly fire going on. Meerkat throwing a pus, blowing up his own lock, even though that lock was
He was
probably
down.
gonna die. We see Overdose getting in on the action. Overdose also kind of just waiting for these Thrall Elite to show up before the final push.
So if you even look at the overhead, look how the Team Yellow is surrounding Team Black.
Yes, we are able to see Geralt Toad coming in. He might have come in through this shallow water here, virtually untouched. And, you know, we see Overdose. He made his move because these Thrall Elite are sort of able to move in. That was a nice tree explosion there. Loved that sound effect. Geralt doing some damage to these defensive units. Getting some pus in there. At this point, MP's team is pretty surrounded.
Flag contested.
These Thrall Elite need to be doing some slicing here. Instead, they're just kind of walking around. Nice pus from Father Xmas to freeze all of these Zerks, but I don't think it's going to be enough to slow down this push from all these melee units.
The Droll still ending up with maybe the most damage or most kills.
Yeah, I mean, Geralt
Most
really,
kills.
he really came through with that that flank. I think he was undetected. I think you and I and Kronjak were soaking up most of the attention from the east side. There were probably 4 or 5 warlocks hurling fireballs at us. I know you were able to get a couple of them. I was able to get one of them. And so I think all their attention was focused on us, which allowed Geralt to sort of swoop in. Of course,
Sweep up.
Glass
But
Jaw.
like well done job, you know? Like Geralt needs his credit. I love that. I love seeing that guy get some good kills.
Yeah, I mean he's a very high variance player. You know, sometimes he'll give you some really good expert play, and then other times, just like in the last the assassin game on Barbarian Valley, he'll blow up all your spiders. So you never know what you're going to get with Geralt, but it's always a pleasure to play with him. He's a very positive person, a great artist, and we wish him the best. And he was definitely the most valuable player in this game. Glassjaw not really putting up stats, but his
captaining.
His captaining, call for the all rush, as well as the pushing with the Thrall Elite, that was sort of an essential portion of this game, or of this strategy. And so, even though the stats don't reflect it, he was absolutely key in this game. Empy, his decision to get 8 warlocks, kind of questionable. Father Xmas was not too pleased about that. NCH and Meerkat were probably indifferent. But, yeah, I mean, who knows? It was an interesting game.
Team eliminated. Game over.
And that concludes week 2, Saturday, the 2022 casuals only tournament. Let me quickly just show the results. Yeah, here we go. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, we see the beginning balance in the left column and all the players who participated. Some of the players missed all the games, but yeah, we see Father Xmas still in a very dominant position with 15 lives. I did give everybody 2 free lives just so they wouldn't get eliminated this week. But, 14, 13, 12, 11 lives, Cronjack, Glassjaw, myself, and you, Walter Wight, both with double-digit lives. So we're definitely not out of this tournament as of week 2, Saturday. Anything you want to comment on?
No, I think that just the throw out there is make sure that the French don't win this one,
Yeah, I mean, that is something that we don't want to see. But at the same time, he is a formidable opponent, and yeah, I mean,
I don't like to see him on the top. It's so funny. But I have to give him props. Xmas, if you're out there, wow, nicely done. I didn't think you'd be at the top.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at his performance, he went 4-1 in the 2-team games, and I think he captained a couple of those, and so, he always seems to know the unit trades, and he always finds himself near the top of the leaderboard in the free-for-all games. So he's a tough customer.
The numbers are justifying it. It's frustrating to me, but you got to go by the numbers.
Exactly, the numbers don't lie. But yeah, thanks for joining me, Walter, and hopefully we will do this again soon. And to all those listening, take care, and hope to see you next time.